All right, guys, I'm going to be going over your Delta Math assignment here. I'm just going to give you a few pointers or some assistance on kind of each of the sections. So for our first section here, we have polynomial long division, and it says, what is the result when 3x cubed plus 14x squared minus 11x plus 2 is divided by 3x minus 1? And so I'm going to show solution because this is a resource that you guys have available to you that I don't think you're all using. So when you're given a question, just know that you can, sorry about that, just know that you can always look at a solution. Obviously if it was a quiz you wouldn't be able to because there's a penalty, but for the homework use this to help you. So I'm going to take a snippet of this and I'm going to drop it into OneNote. Oh, looks like I already tried to do this once. So I'm going to put it into OneNote and I'm going to show you kind of doing it this way where I can mark it up and write stuff on it. So, all right, so let's go through this. So we have 3x cubed plus 12x squared minus 11x plus 2 that needs to go inside of our division sign here. Then we have 3x minus 1 that we are dividing by, and that's our divisor. So when we do long division, we have to ask ourselves, what do I multiply this number by to get this number? And so I have to multiply this 3x by x squared in order to get 3x cubed. And if I kind of distribute this to both of them, I would get 3x cubed minus x squared. And since we're subtracting, Delta Math does a good job here to show you that you're switching your signs. So negative 3x cubed, and this turns into a positive x squared. So these are going to cancel, and a 14x squared plus x squared is going to give me a 15x squared. So we kind of repeat this process. So now instead of asking what we have to multiply by to get 3x cubed, we're asking what we have to multiply by to get 15x squared. So 3 times 5 will give me the 15, so that's how I get the 5 right here. And x times x will give me x squared. So again, I distribute this to both of them. I'm multiplying it to both of them, and that's what I'm writing here. 3x times 5x is 15x squared. Negative 1 times 5x is negative 5x. And I distribute a negative there. So I have negative 15x squared, and this 15x squared cancel, sorry. And then I have negative 11x plus 5x, and I get negative 6x. You know, we keep bringing this down, bringing it down, and now we have what multiplies to be negative 6x. So I have 3x. I have 3x. How do I get negative 6x? So I have to multiply by a negative 2. So that would give me a negative 6, and that would give me a positive 2. And then don't forget, we switch our signs because we're subtracting. And when we do that, we actually, everything cancels out and we have no remainder. So our answer here is this right here, and we don't have a remainder, right? So we don't really need to write this because 0 over 3x minus 1 is just 0. So this is our final answer. Now if I go back to Delta Math, I'm going to go back. I'm going to go to a new level. This next one says, what is the result when this is divided by this? So it's the same thing. The only difference is now we're going to get a remainder. So if you look, we got a remainder of negative 7 for this example. Same thing, what multiplies to give me this? That's 2x squared. I distribute it, then subtract. Then I do it to this one, distribute and subtract. Right? The whole process is still the same. The only difference is when you get that remainder, you need to write your remainder over what you're dividing by. Okay? So your remainder over what you're dividing by. So I'm going to, again, take a quick snippet of this one and put this into my notes here. Oh. That didn't like where I copied it. Let's try this. I'm messing things up. Alright, let's just go back to delta and move on from there. Alright, so how about this one? This one, now instead of dividing by 2 terms, we're dividing by 3 terms. We're dividing by a trinomial. So the steps are still the same in this, guys. You're asking yourselves, x squared has to be multiplied by what to get 3x to the 4th? And that would be 3x squared. Now watch, guys. 3x squared has to be multiplied to all 3 terms. And so my result is x squared times 3x squared is 3x to the 4th. Negative x times 3x squared is negative 3x cubed. Positive 3 times 3x squared is positive 9x squared. Then I switch my signs. I add these going down, so these cancel. This gives me a negative 4x cubed, and this gives me a positive 3x squared. Bring down your terms. And I repeat. So I have a negative 4x cubed as my leading term here. What do I multiply x squared by to get negative 4x cubed? Well, negative 4x. And I distribute that to each one of these and repeat this process. Okay, when I get my remainder, why do I stop here? Why do I not keep going any further? Well, here's why. You cannot divide x squared into x. This is already smaller. So here, yes, there's something I could have multiplied by to get a negative x squared. So I did. I multiplied by a negative 1, and I got this. Is there anything I could multiply x squared by to get negative 7x? And there's not. I cannot multiply by something, well, there's nothing that's a polynomial. We're dealing with polynomials here. I could have, I guess, divided by, or multiplied by a negative 7 over x, because one of the x's would cancel. But A, that's nothing you've seen before, so that's probably not the case. And B, it's not a polynomial. So x squared cannot be negative 7x. This only has 1 exponent, this one has 2. So we stop and we call this our remainder. Okay, I hope that gives some clarification on that set. So I'm going to go back. Then we have synthetic division. And again, if you show solution, I think Delta Math does a really good job of setting it up for you, showing you what you're supposed to do. It even shows you where they got the 4 from. Well, that was because you had 4x cubed. Then you had the negative 3x, and you had the 1. And why is there a 0 here? Because that's your placeholder. Why is there a 1 here? Well, because you set your divisor, the x minus 1, it even shows you here, equal to 0, and you found 1. Then you drop this one, multiply, and you get 4. Add, multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply. And so your answer here, since you have no remainder, this is your answer. Okay? Let me show you what it looks like when you get a remainder. Oh, all of these have no remainder. Let's try this problem set 2. Oh, there we go. Okay, so when you get this remainder, you're going to write that over your divisor. So you still do the setup the same. It's just when you get that remainder, you have to make sure that you write that as part of your answer and you enter that in. So this answer isn't just 2x squared minus 6x minus 1, but it has plus 10 divided by x plus 4. Alright, so again, just make sure that when you enter this in, that you're entering in all of this. So this part here is a fraction. It's 10 divided by x plus 4. Make sure all of that's in the bottom, or you'll get that wrong. So let me just show you the last set of questions on here, and that's polynomial long division. And so this is similar to one that we've already seen. I'm just going to show you, though, in most of these ones, there is a missing term, so you have to make sure you put it. So like right here, they had to put the 0 for this one. Let me show you another one, new problem. This one they had to put a, no placeholder here, except that you do need that 0x there because there was nothing that multiplies. So 3x multiplied to be 0x squared is 0x. There's 3 times 0 is what gave you that. And then again, remember your remainder has to be put above your divisor, so that 3x minus 1. Let me see. New problem. Okay, so let me just go through this one with you. So here's the original question. It's 12x cubed minus 7x squared minus 8. So notice that you're missing your 0x here. In the inside of this division sign, you have 12x cubed minus 7x squared plus 0x minus 8. And that plus 0x came because you needed a placeholder for your x value. And then you ask yourself, what multiplies to 12x cubed? That's 4x squared times 3x. And you distribute that to both terms there. Okay, continue this process, and then just raise your hand right now. So this is the last question on this video. So I hope that this gave you a little bit of guidance on where to go. But raise your hand and ask questions if you are still struggling, and we would love to help. Good luck.